You know we be with it, we off in the hood like some wizards. Nobody ever gave us anything. Meant something from nothing, just like magicians. Gotta relearn everything. Just to remember that I was forgetting. Just to remember that we had a vision. Did it all, don't know how I did it. Time to go start season to go and you know those crystal trips. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Start season to go and you know those crystal trips. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we know the vision. Start season to go and you know those crystal trips. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Start season to go and you know those crystal trips. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we know the vision. Off on the mission, you know how it goes. Off in the system, they turn up their nose. They took all the soil, but they didn't know. Through the concrete, you see the ropes. Eyes ain't open, don't mean I ain't woke. Ain't got no cash, don't mean that I'm broke.
Welcome in. Welcome in, soul family. This is a momentous moment. A new season. Every time you awaken, it's a new season, a new moment, a new reset. The divine gave us the opportunity for resets. It's called sleep, rest, napping. It's called traveling the astral planes. It's called dreaming. We get to reset. And when we embark on the new moment, the new journey, your new calling, your new receiving and transmitting, we get to make a change. Because change is the only constant in all of the many various universes that the divine has expressed itself as and is expressing itself now. So remember your importance in your moments. Ra talks about the value of your present moments. Ra tries to warn against, without usurping your free will to choose, against being over-focused on the future or on the past. Ra doesn't want your spiritual seeking to become fractured or a mental burden. But still, you have the free will to allow that to happen by making your choices. So let's take a deep dive into the next phase of this now moment called ascending beyond limitations, the Ra experience. Reading book 3. It's a continuation of a deep dive into yourself. You asking your embodying questions based on the answers that Ra is giving the questioner. You get to take them in and take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Are you ready? I'm ready. Marcus, are you ready?
Namaste. Welcome, everybody. Thank you, Sandy, for opening up this beautiful raw material law of one space for us. And I just want to give gratitude, and I also want to give upliftment to everybody out there. Thank you all for tapping in and tuning in with us and continuing to explore in this amazing series, Ascending Beyond Limitations. And I want to say, this journey has been nothing short but life-changing for myself. And I'm just really grateful for all of the insight that we have been able to accumulate and come across throughout 68 episodes now, ever since the summer of last year. And I gotta say, like, I never thought, some of the names, some of the figures, some of the big architectures of this world, like the pyramids, I had never thought in my life. I didn't know where I'd find any answers or any higher awareness to these things that have been brought up. I mean, the pathway of Yeshua or Jesus, the soul journey of all the way to the contrast of Adolf Hitler, to even learn about the Raw Confederation and its connection to not only Egypt, but also South America, and why there's pyramids in both, and that there is a tie that deals with the raw frequency. So that's so intriguing, the different things we have discovered. And the one thing that has really stood out to me probably the most is accountability. Over and over throughout these episodes, we circle back to accountability as a free will, mind, body, spirit complex. And I'm just so grateful for those reminders, as those reminders are the subtle reminders that help us in the times of struggle, help us in the time of pain and suffering, as well as delusion, when we lose track and lose sight of our connection to the one true source. And with that, I also just wanted to take a moment and give us a little sound healing with the crown chakra. And today on my Grand Rising with Christolight, we talked about the 7th ray of light, which is the violet ray. And with the violet ray, this kind of goes hand in hand with what we just spoke on. And the violet ray brings mercy, compassion, as well as transmutation and releasing of energy to our field. So when we connect with the violet ray, we connect with giving ourselves more compassion and mercy for our experiences, and we allow ourselves to be able to release the negative karma or the lower vibrational density that we are attached to due to our experiences. So I'm going to go ahead and play this bowl for just a moment, just to break us open and get into this space. And then I'll hand it back over to Sandy after we take a journey into last week and where we left off. So feel free to get comfortable, relax that body, relax your shoulders and your feet and your toes, and relax your jaw, and just focus on breathing and being present with yourself for a moment as you receive these crown chakra frequencies. Breathing through the body, surrendering to any mental limitations, any negative thoughts, any attachments to the past or future. Surrendering and letting it all flow with the violet ray. taking a moment to feel ourselves in the present, in our center, as we are receptive and open for clarity, any rebalancing or healing, and divine connection. And when you're ready, opening your eyes and getting ready for the raw material law of one. Over to you.
The raw material law of one, also known as the law of love or unconditional love. The one true creator that has given us the experience of our lifetime. We get to be an expression of the one true source. And we get to tap into the polarities or the energy polarities, higher and lower. And we were given the opportunity in third density to have likes and dislikes, to taste love and hate, and make a palatable decision. You get to taste it, feel it, be it, become your decision. You get to embody it. It becomes a taste in your higher being spirit. And Ross says, I'm giving you our cheat codes. We've done it already. And I'm here to answer any questions that are asked, as long as we can answer them without usurping any being's free will. And here we are on book 3. And we're ready to deep dive. You get to take what resonates. One size just does not fit all. So if there is something in this book that Ra has channeled that you don't feel comfortable with, leave it alone. It might not be for your understanding at this moment, and that's okay. That's part of your learning experience. And this is playtime. When have you ever learned while you were playing? Most schools separate the two. Let's play. The questioner asks, as we continue, the wanderer goes through a forgetting process. You mentioned that those who have both third and fourth density bodies activated now do not have the forgetting that the wanderer has. I was just wondering if, say, a sixth density wanderer were here with a third density body activated, would he have gone through forgetting that was in sections? Shall I say a forgetting of fourth, fifth, and sixth densities? And if he were to have fourth density body activated, then would he have a partial additional memory and then another partial additional memory if his fifth density body is activated, and full memory if he had sixth density body activated? Does this make any sense? I am Ra. No. Questioner says, thank you. The forgetting process was puzzling to me because you said that fourth density activated people who were here who had been hard to explain why the wanderers lose their memory. I am Ra. The reason is twofold. First, the genetic properties of the connection between the mind-body-spirit complex And the cellular structure of the body is different for third density than for third/fourth density. Secondly, the free will of third density entitles needs to be preserved. Thus, take the comma and a pause. Wanderers volunteer for third density genetic or DNA connection to the mind-body-spirit complex. The forgetting process can be penetrated to the extent of the wanderer remembering what it is and why it is upon the planetary sphere. However, if it would be infringement if wanderers penetrated the forgetting so far as to activate the more dense bodies and thus be able to live, shall we say, in a godlike manner. This would not be proper for those who have chosen to serve. The new fourth density entities, which are becoming able to demonstrate various newer abilities, are doing so as a result of the present experience, not as a result of memory. There are always a few exceptions, and we ask your forgiveness for constant barrage of overgeneralization. Some come intact with their gifts already in action, but they still go through a fragment of forgetting. But the remembering or the recall comes easily to those that have come on the plane to serve in the capacity to generate more energy for to propel shifting and evolution of Earth consciousness and of humanity. It's still third density. They're coming in with fourth and fifth density energies because they've come to serve and awaken. Only awaken, not to force to awaken anybody, just to awaken. The questioner says, I don't know if this question is related to what I am trying to get or not. I'll ask it and see what results. You mentioned in speaking of the pyramids, and Marcus just mentioned the pyramids. Oh, Marcus. In speaking of the pyramids, the resonating chambers was used so that the adept could meet the self. Would you explain what you meant by that? I am raw. One meets the self in the center or deep of the being. The so-called resonating chamber may be likened unto the symbology of the burial and resurrection of the body, wherein the entity dies to self, and through this confirmation of apparent loss and realization of essential gain is transmuted into a new and risen being. What was I talking about? Reset. When we sleep, it is our body dying to allow our body to regenerate and become anew. It's not necessarily always about a physical death. The questioner says, could I make the analogy of in this apparent death of losing the desires that are the illusory, common desires of third density and gaining desires of total service to others? I am raw. You are perceptive. This was the purpose and Oh, this was the purpose and the intent of the chamber, as well as forming a necessity portion of the king's chamber position effectiveness. When you go into knowing thyself and you go deep into the center of your beingness and you recall who you are, who you truly are, and why you're truly here, you begin to, even though you are in third density, you see it differently. You can see it in a fourth density beingness or consciousness, or you could see it in a fifth density beingness or consciousness. You can feel your body shifting, though everybody else might see you as a physical third density body, but you've changed. Back to you, Marcus.
Already talking about the pyramids, I see. There's one thing in the universe that is inevitable, they say, and that is change. So with change, there's many different ways that we can go about change, and there's many different ways that we are also given support through change as well. It's not kind of like you get kicked out to these lower dimensions and then good luck, you're off at the deep end. There's different dimensional planes, and on those planes, there's different figures or embodiments that are in the law of one to help assist along the way. And actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and discover one of those many, many different guides that we have. And this one that we're about to explore comes from the Archangel realm and has to do with the ray of light that I spoke upon this rising in my life. And that is the violet flame.
The Archangel Zadkiel, or God is my righteousness, is an archangel associated with mercy, forgiveness, in Jewish and Christian tradition. He is a part of the choir of angels called the Dominions, which are in charge of governing celestial bodies such as stars, planets, and other celestial objects. They are also in charge of organizing and supervising lower-ranking angels and helping them perform their work well. They are also in charge of maintaining order, delivering justice, and showing God's mercy. In some traditions, the Archangel Zadkiel is also among the angels who follow the Archangel Michael into holy battle at the end times. Within the Kabbalistic tree of life, the Archangel Zadkiel is linked to the Sephirah Chesed, the fourth spear of the tree of life, which represents divine mercy, forgiveness, and unconditional kindness. In New Age spiritual practices, Archangel Zadkiel is associated with the violet flame, a spiritual energy dedicated to transforming fears into love. Let's go ahead and explore other associations. So, the Archangel Zadkiel is associated with the planet Jupiter and the zodiac sign of Gemini, according to some sources online. Through its association with the planet Jupiter, it is able to bring about good luck and forgiveness to those who pray to him. Zadkiel is also linked with the day of the week of Thursday, the color violet and white, the gemstones amethyst, blue lace agate, blue chalcedony, and the plants sweet orange, mandarin, tangerines, and pretty much any type of citrus. The Archangel is also said to be associated with other plants such as noble laurel, lavender, frankincense, and peppermint. Some people would like to associate him with a frequency or tone, such as a binaural beat, such as 528 hertz or 639 hertz. So how do we connect with the archangel? Well, there's plenty of ways to do this through meditation, listening to these tones that I explained previously, or praying to him. There are also symbols that he is associated with, such as the number 29. It is linked to this archangel in particular because it brings about tranquility, clarity, and supports the integration of different parts of oneself in order to heal as well as to transmute negative energy into positive energy. Here is an example of a prayer that you can use and modify as you please to call upon the Archangel Zadkiel. Beloved Archangel Zadkiel, I ask for your assistance as I release all negative energy and transmute it into love. That is all I have for the Archangel Zadkiel. If you would like to learn more about different archangels, I do have several already uploaded on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Archangel Zadkiel. So yeah, that's just one of many beings that's a part of the seventh ray of light that can help us along this human journey of free will when it comes to our ascension process. And that is with the violet ray or the violet flame, which brings mercy, compassion, and transmutation of our attachments, our wounds, and the density that we are carrying on our soul journey. So along with that, you can also connect with Saint Germain, who's the ascended master of the violet ray, and his twin flame, Lady Portia, as well. So it's really cool and fascinating when we dive more into the different archetypes and the different guides that we have available. So then we don't feel so alone in this human journey. You know, we don't feel like we're kind of just left out here in this dark place, and there's no hope, there's no support, there's no assistance. But there is many multitudes of assistance that is available for us, whether it's physical or non-physical. And that's really what's so beautiful about what Ra has been talking about too, is, you know, we're going into multiple different dimensions of lingo. And hydration check for everybody. And it's really cool to see the channels coming through speaking about multiple different dimensions and going in detail about each of those dimensions. It's pretty fascinating. And for those that have always loved to hear about, you know, parallel dimensions and multiverse theories and stuff like that, these studies are really great when it comes to that. If you want to get like ancient knowledge and detail of what it could look like within parallel and multiverses that we are a part of. So with that, I'll just hand it back to you.
Hand it back to me. I'm open to the divine, the expression of Ra. I'm open because it's one infinite possibility of all the information I can use in my recalling. I know that I was called to serve others because my higher being has dropped into my soul that you know me. You know all the versions of me. You just haven't seen those versions yet. But as individual beings flow in and out of your story, you'll see me. You'll feel me. You'll even hear me in a passing. We might not ever open our mouths to speak, but you will hear me in the ether realms, because there I am, all around you. So even while Ra has channeled this book, Ra is channeling here because we have opened ourselves to the information of our recalling, of our learning, of our growth, of our expansion, of our shifting, of our evolution. When I first started to learn or read the book of Ra, I got through 2 books. The first book was easy for me. I opened myself up to. But the second book, as I got through the middle section of it, it became difficult for me because of Ra's passages or words that he was using. He, they, this sixth density entity was using that wouldn't usurp my free will. So I asked the divine, you want me to keep reading this book? Help me understand it. Well, I was reading on my Instagram other books, and there was a lady that said, when we're done doing this book, do you think you could read the book out loud, The Divine Design? And I told her, text me or DM me the information. I'll take a look. And as soon as I looked at the information on my Amazon, the book just came back into stock and it was on sale. And the information that they shared with me was enough to send a vibration from the sole of my feet to the crown of my head. When I started reading this book out loud on my Instagram, I immediately started to understand what Ra was telling us. Ra is giving us an overview. The Divine Design was giving us a blow by blow. And when I infused that into my knowing, my higher being helped me to understand. And then I started to read another book called The Masters in New Energy. It's a channeling of Saint Germain. We are here to grow, and there's infinite possibilities of us growing. There's not one set way that we can learn. The divine wants you to know that. Ra wants you to know that his word is not the last word. There may have been 5 books, but there are so many other channelings. And Ra employs you to go find them. It's okay to seek the information that you want. If you want more, ask, and it'll be revealed. The questioner says, can you tell me what this chamber did to the entity to create the awareness in him? We're still talking about, at that time, pyramids. I am Ra. This chamber worked upon the mind and the body. The mind was affected by sensory deprivation and the archetypal reactions to bring buried alive with no possibility of extricating the self. The body was affected both by the mind configuration and by the electrical and piezoelectrical properties of the materials which were used in the construction of the resonating chamber. This will be the last full inquiry of this working. May we ask if there is any brief inquiries at this time. And Ra wants me, as that sentence, as that explanation was given, the vision of Lazarus rising when Jesus laid hands on him and wrote, and the power of Jesus rose Lazarus from the dead. The energy and the intention from Jesus to Lazarus went deep. This is what Ra wants you to know. The pyramids, we may look at them as ancient in history, but now we have that same power that the pyramids had. What they were constructed for. They're called our chakras. We were born with them. I'm not saying if you die, you might be raised from the dead, but certainly you transform into a new consciousness and move and make choices to become something different. Infinite possibilities. Now that this paragraph helped me understand that question that I had about Lazarus when I was 10 in Sunday school. Haven't thought about it since then, but this explains it. We go on to session 66. This was done August 12th, 1981. Ra wants you to know the time, because change always happens and you always grow. You take what resonates from a past moment because it was a now moment, and then you discern it if it's for your highest and greatest good in your now moment, in this now moment that we're having. You discern if it's for your highest and greatest good, and only you can discern that. I am Ra. I greet you in the love and in the light of the one infinite creator. We communicate now. The questioner says, I would like to investigate the mechanism of healing using crystallized healers. I am going to make a statement, and I would appreciate it if you would correct my thinking. The questioner says, it seems to me that once the healer has become properly balanced and unblocked with respect to energy centers, it is possible for him or her to act in some way as a collector, collecting light through the left hand and emitting it through the right. Then somehow penetrating the first and the seventh chakra, vibratorily envelops of the body and allowing of the realignment of energy centers of the entity to be healed. I am quite sure that I am not completely correct on this and possibly considerably off. Could you rearrange my thinking so it makes sense? I am Ra. You are correct in your assumption that the crystallized healer is Anogalish. I'm trying to pronounce this. Hold on a second. Analogus. And I spelled the word for you. We'll just keep going. It has a part of the story of the pyramid. I believe the divine just gave it to me. Analogy. It's the analogy of the pyramidal action of the king's chamber. So it works the same way. There are a few adjustments we might suggest. Firstly, the energy which is used is brought into the field complex of the healer by the outstretched hand used in a polarized sense. However, this energy circulates through the various points of energy to the base of the spine and to the certain extent the feet, thus coming through the main energy center of the healer, spiraling through the feet, turning at the red energy center towards a spiral at the yellow energy center, and passing through the green energy center in a microcosm of the King's Chamber configuration of prana. This then continuing for the third spiritual through the blue ray center and being sent therefore through the gateway back to intelligent infinity. We may note that there are some who use the yellow ray configuration to transfer energy, and this may be done, but the effects are questionable, and this with regards to the relationship between the healer and the healing energy. The seeker, questionable due to the with regards to the relationship between the forgive me. Propensity to the whole seeker to continue requiring such energy transfers without any true healing taking place in the absence of the healer due to the lack of the penetration of the armoring shell of which you spoke. And we're going to go back to Marcus, because the fact that energy moves through our 7 chakras to heal is very important. Is very important. Hello, Marcus. Are we back? Marcus, are we frozen? Okay, we'll go on with another question. He's working on something. It's all right. The next question is, a wanderer who has an origin from 5th or 6th density can attempt such a healing and have little or no results. Can you tell me what the wanderer has lost and why it is necessary for him or her to regain certain balances and abilities for him or her to perfect this healing ability? I am Ra. You may see the wanderer as the infant attempting to verbalize the sound complexes of your peoples. The memory of the ability to communicate is within the infant's undeveloped mind complex. But the ability to practice or manifest this, called speech, is not immediately forthcoming due to the limitations of the mind, body, spirit complex. It has chosen to be a part of its experience. It chose to come in this fashion. Therefore, it has to acclimate and assimilate so that it can gain more information to experience. So it is with the wanderer, which remembering the ease with adjustment can be in the home density, yet still having entered third density, cannot manifest that memory due to the limitations of the chosen experience. The chances of a wanderer being able to heal in third density are only more than those native to this density, because the desire to serve may be stronger and this method of service chosen. It's free will. You come in veiled, having the ability to do things, and as you awaken to that experience of your recall and the energy, the energetic properties you have, and to know that you're called to be a healer, you begin to embody it. Over to Marcus.
I'm here. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about one of my favorite topics. That is the 7 chakras. So as you can see here, we got the 7 chakras up on the screen. And as you guys can see, it also shows different energy bodies or different bodies of our human being, like the etheric body, the emotional body, the mental body, the astral, and beyond. And then it's got the 1 through 7 with the chakras, and then it tells you which chakra is which. And if you look at the root chakra, it shows a downwards funnel. And then if you look at the crown, it shows an upwards funnel.
Oh, you're welcome, buddy.
And then you can see at the crown, it's got the violet purple energy. And that is for transformation. And that is a gateway to the divine for us. So that is why when you look at that, it's got purple around it, but then it's got white inside, because that white is basically the divine light, and that divine light comes through the funnel of the crown center. Now it comes through there, and then we also release back up the source through there. And then the root chakra grounds us down to the earth, and that funnel connects us to the earth energy. And then the heart chakra is the center of that, which is why it's called the center, the heart center. And that is the balance of our earth energy and our divine energy. Or you can say our animalistic nature and our conscious higher nature. And then Ra mentioned the third energy center, if you're coming up from the root, which is the solar plexus, which is the yellow center. And the solar plexus is where we use our willpower. It's where we take action, and it is where we have courage and self-esteem and confidence to use our vital energy. So it's pretty fascinating stuff. And then the chakras also are not physical, but they're a part of the etheric body. If you guys look here, I'll zoom in a little bit for you guys. The etheric body is that trace of energy that vibrates around and through your physical body. So it's like a blueprint system that governs the physical matter, and then assimilates the physical matter into material. And then the etheric body, or the energy body, connects us to the emotional body, and then the mental body, astral, and beyond. Pretty fascinating stuff when you really get into it. And then the chakras are the gateways or the centers or the portals in your etheric body that allow the emotional, the mental, and astral energies to be able to project and assimilate into your material form. It gets even deeper than that as you continue on and you look at it from other perceptions as well. But that's just a brief overlay of the chakras, what they look like and where they're located, and what it is that they do in relationship to our human life, and kind of like what Ra is talking about in this download that we're talking on right now. It's also pretty fascinating with the chakras too. We'll learn that it basically governs our whole entire well-being. So our mental health, our emotional health, and our physical health, and our spiritual health, it is all connected to the chakras. So we can do chakra work to basically balance all of these different aspects, depending upon the chakra that we work with and its relationship to the universal scale of vibration. And with that, back to you.
And with that, know that healers can only heal people if they want to be healed. They are a transmitter, and the person that they are healing is the receiver. It's an exchange of energy, or not even an exchange of energy. It's a collaboration of merging energy. The pyramid, it was created so it would give energy. There was no gray area. It just gave it. It just transmitted it. But the person in the pyramid that was seeking healing had to receive it. It's a collaboration. Everything changes. Your body changes. Your mind changes. Your soul grows. Your higher being grows through the information that you're feeding it. It's just like you eating and feeding your body so that you can gain energy and taking in sustenance so that you don't get weak and your head doesn't get dizzy and you don't get shakes when you go without eating for long periods of time. I'm just defining how it feels for me when I don't eat for long periods of time. And then all of a sudden my body will say, hey, you need something, because my hands will start shaking or I get lightheaded. It's up to me to give my body what it needs, to be open to giving my body what it needs. If I go to Marcus for healing, I have to be open. Otherwise, he's giving me energy that I'm not using. He could use that energy for others. That's all Ra is saying. It's up to the person receiving. Lazarus was called back to his body. It was up to him to choose to come back into the physical body. Yeshua healed Lazarus because Lazarus was a vibrational friend. But Lazarus didn't have to come back to his body. But he came back to his friend. Vibrationally. It was a choice. Lazarus, that soul called Lazarus, that was making his movement up the densities, up the polarity densities to go back to merge with the divine, turned around and said, oh, I hear the calling. Okay, I'll go back. I'm needed. The calling to service. I'm going to read this again. Ra says the chances of a wanderer being able to heal in third density are only more than those native to the density, because of the desire to serve may be stronger than the method of service chosen. That's all Ra is saying. Wanderers can heal. They have the power. They have the power of recall to know where they came from, why they're here, and that they still have free will to choose their if they want to be on the polarity of positive service to others, or service to just themselves. They have that choice. That does not stop with each book that Ra has. It's more integrated than ever. It's more of a merging process. All your energy that you have, you use it to serve others, which service means that all your needs are taken care of because you're part of the wholeness of others. You're whole. You're the expression of the one true creator, like Ra says. Or you have the ability to have service to self and put all your energy into that. It's a choice. It's not looked upon as bad or good by the creator, because the creator is still seeking itself through you. It gets to feel what you feel. And if you get to the point where you're explaining why you're feeling that, then the divine says, oh, I'm Sandra feeling this. I'm Marcus feeling this. I'm Marcus and Sandra in this collaboration of this reading, feeling this, seeing this, being this, doing this. Us just being here with the energy that we have moving through our chakras, you can be healed if you choose. And you'll get to call or text or DM Marcus and say, man, I was healed and didn't even know it, and you healed me. Or my light language opened up, and all of a sudden I started speaking it. I think it was because I was sitting in your raw material podcast. These are infinite possibilities. Ra wants you to know that. Growth and expansion is a two-way transmitter. It can't happen, healing can't happen unless you receive it, unless you're open to it. I remember my mother repeating in the Bible her favorite verses to me. Ask, believe, receive. Be daring enough to ask. Be bold enough to believe. And then stand with your arms out, like she used to say, and receive. With your arms open, as that's what would be her words, and receive. Do we have time for one more question, Marcus?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Plenty of time.
The questioner says, what about the ones with a dual type of activated third and fourth density bodies, harvested from other third density planets? Are they able to heal using the techniques that we have discussed? I am Ra. In many cases, this is so. But as beginners of fourth density, the desire may not be present. The questioner then asks, I'm assuming then that we have a wanderer with the desire attempting to learn the techniques of healing while, shall I say, trapped in third density. He, then, it seems to me, is primarily concerned with the balancing and unblocking of the energy centers. Am I correct in this assumption? I am Ra. You are correct. Only insofar as the healer has become balanced may it be a channel for the balancing of another self or an other self. The healing is first practiced upon the self, if we may say this in another way. We are all the divine. We're just other. When someone comes to you and you have this healing gift and they say, I need to sit with you. I need, this healing to, for my heart or for my emotions or whatnot. You're only a part of the other self. If you aren't activated to heal, then how can you heal? You have to go and know thyself and where you're growing. If you're growing in these gifts and talents that you have, but the person that you're serving to be healed has to be part of the merging of the being involved in the transmission of energy and the receiving of energy, because the receiving of energy is just opening up their energy fields that they have. It's a two-way collaboration. The questioner says, now, as the healer approaches another self to do the healing, we have a situation where the other self has, through programming of catalysts, possibly created a condition which is viewed as a condition needing healing. What is the situation and what are the ramifications of the healer acting upon the condition of programmed catalysts to bring about healing? Am I correct in assuming that in doing this healing, the programmed catalyst is useful to the one to be healed, in that the one to be healed then becomes aware of what it wished to become aware of, the programming, the catalyst? Is this correct? Did you get confused? Because I did. But let's see what Ra says. I am Ra. Your thinking cannot be said to be completely incorrect, but shows a rigidly which is not apparent to the flow of the experiential use of catalysts. The role of the healer is to offer an opportunity for realignment or aid in realignment of either energy centers or some connection between the energies of mind and body, or spirit and mind, or spirit and body. This latter is very rare. The seeker will then have the reciprocal opportunity to accept a novel view of the self, a variant arrangement of patterns of energy influx. If the entity of any level or at any level desires to remain in the configuration of distortion, which seems to be needing healing, it will do so. We already talked about that, right? If upon the other hand, the seeker chooses the novel configuration. It is done through free will. You make the free will choice to receive the energy, believe the energy is healing you, and then merge with the energy. Growth and expansion, shifting and evolution. This is one great difficulty with other forms of energy transfer, that they do not carry through the process of free will, as the process is not naive or native to the yellow ray. Over to you, Marcus. I know Marcus is going, me next, me next. Woo. Whoosh.
I gotta say, with all this conversation about frequencies and crystals and things of that nature, I want to share a couple of crystals with all of you guys out there. And these crystals can help with the kind of things that we spoke on today. You know, the violet ray energy of just being able to release and let go of our attachments, the things that could be causing, density and causing illness and disease within our being, mentally, emotionally, physically. So a few of the stones that you can use with this violet energy is amethyst. Amethyst is one of them. And there's a variety of different styles of amethyst out there. This is a chevron amethyst, which has the white. And then there's also like the standard amethyst, which is like a clear and purple. And amethyst is really good for helping with the energy of relaxation and soothing. It also helps with bringing more peace to the being, as it allows for us to then be able to let go of our attachments more easier due to that ease and peaceness. So then it can then release and naturally flow out of our crown chakra, out of our system. So that is something that the amethyst stone is good for, transmutation. It's also good for dream work, something that people keep underneath their pillow as well when it comes to having more clear and lucid dreams. The next stone, this one is called lepidolite. Lepidolite is a purple stone as well. It's a little bit more softer, lighter purple. And lepidolite is kind of similar. It helps with anxiety, stress, things of that nature that could have us out of sorts with our inner peace. And then it also helps us with being able to connect with our spiritual body. So it helps us with attuning into our psychic senses, as well as the angelic realm, and to be able to have a more clear connection with our guides and higher self during times of need. So those are a couple of crystals you can use when it comes to that. And then if you're looking for something that's more of a complement to the red ray, which was also mentioned, the root chakra, then you can go for stones such as, I know carnelian. Carnelian's a really good one for grounding your energy, bringing more stability, as well as balancing your emotional state. Another one is ruby and garnet. Ruby and garnet are really great for being able to dispel energies, ground you, bring stability, as well as help with your physical health. They can help with your bloodstream. It can help with your bones and your muscles, your tissue, and the physical parts of your body. And then along with that, they also help you connect to healthy emotions and being able to use your emotions for good fortune and abundant energy. So those are a couple of different crystals you can use. You got the crown chakra stones, that 7th violet ray, the amethyst, and the lepidolite. And then I don't have the stones I mentioned for the red center, but that was ruby, garnet, and carnelian. And those are really good for balancing that red center that Ra mentioned. And with that, yeah, I'll go to hand it back to Sandy, and I thank you guys for being part of this episode with us, episode 68.
Episode 68, Ra just delivers, right? Ra just delivers. One more question, and then Ra says, we got to close it. Sandy, I hear your tummy. And I laugh and go, hey, you know, when I get hungry, I get hungry, right? Ra says, or the questioner says, what is the difference philosophically between a mind-body-spirit complex healing itself through mental, shall I say, configuration, and it being healed by a healer? So basically, what's the difference between you doing it yourself and going to a healer? I am Ra. You have a misconception. Healers, the healer, ooh, I love this. Okay. I'm going to slow my roll and say it really, really slowly. The healer does not heal. The crystallized healer is a channel for intelligent energy, which offers an opportunity to the entity that might heal itself. In no case is there another description of healing. Therefore, there is no difference as long as the healer never approaches one whose request for aid has not come to it previously. If someone doesn't request healing, you can't give it to them. You can hold space for them to see that they might need it, to be open to it. But you can't take it upon yourself to usurp their free will if they haven't asked for healing. This is also true of the more conventional healers of your culture. And if healers could be fully realized that they are responsible only for offering the opportunity of healing and not for the healing, many of these entities would feel an enormous load of misconceived responsibility fall from them. They wouldn't take it upon themselves that, oh, that person died anyway. Oh, it's all my fault. I didn't give them all that I had. Oh, they didn't take what I needed. If they were taking your energy and they were not receiving it, believing it, embodying it within them, they were going to die anyway. They were still going to feel annoyed. They were still going to be agitated. They wanted you to take away their agitation. They wanted you to fix them. But if they weren't open to fixing, none of your energy could fix them. If you're trying to fix somebody and you're sending energy their way and they're not open to it, ain't nothing gonna happen. Ra wants you to know that's the same way. If people are doing witchcraft on you, the only way that witchcraft can take you over is if you're open to it, if you're in receipt of it. If you believe that witchcraft and voodoo and all these other things are part of your story and they're a part of your psyche, then that's the only way it's working for you. But the moment that you become aware that you do not have to take this on, it's not your energy, you can refuse it. The entity that acts as that energy, it has to get gone. It has to go. You've taken away the ability for it to act. This is why Ra is so very intimate about not going and answering questions that will usurp our free will to choice. This is why the Ra is always making sure that the questioner understands that you've got to rephrase the question because we can't answer it based on free will. This was written, this was channeled in 1981. We are in the year 2020, believed to be in the year 2025. That's a whole nother conversation about what year we're actually really in. Okay? But 2025, growth and expansion has occurred. Change has happened. The divine that is Ra wants you to know that you can be in third density and have a fifth density consciousness and be in a 3D, 4D, and 5D body if you so choose to acknowledge it. It's called growth. It's called expansion. It's called shifting, and it's called evolving. And then, blessed be, we get to wash, rinse, and fucking repeat. From the very ground chakra that we have all the way up to the crown chakra and every etheric body that surrounds us, we get to vibrate and grow. You can decide if you want to go to a healer or not. You can decide if you want to go to a doctor or not, if you want to do the medical thing. You get to decide. You get to grow. You get to expand. People are going to give you their information as it served them, and then you get to decide if it's for your greater good. One size just does not fit all. This is all Ra is saying. Ra is saying you were given every tool in your backpack when the divine sent itself through you along to have this. It said, Scoot, I put everything in your backpack. Go enjoy playing in third density. Scoot now. Go grow up there. Scoot, scoot, scoot. I gave you it. Don't worry. You'll only be have amnesia for a little bit if you choose. I'll send your guardians of the galaxy to help you recall. And you can choose to recall. Go now. Go be a version of me. Show me what it is to be Sandy. Scoot now. Scoot. Go play on the playground. Growth and expansion. That's all Ra is saying. We grew from needing a pyramid. to having the pyramid properties, to understanding and recalling that we have the pyramid properties within us. We grew. It doesn't mean you can't go and walk amongst the pyramids if they're open to you. The energy is still there. Doesn't mean you can't climb Machu Picchu and get to the top and vibrate with that energy. It just means that the divine, the creator is letting us know that we were created with everything we needed for growth and expansion, for shifting and evolving. Thank you for joining us this Wednesday for chapter episode, I call it chapter, but episode 68. Rosewater. Put that up again so that I can read it again. Sacred Serenity Healer, Malta, Flora, Rosewater. The divine gives you everything you need. Everything on planet Earth plane, known as Earth consciousness, is here for us. Growth and expansion will never cease to stop. So with that, I say thank you for joining us for episode 68. I hope to see you again for episode 69. Same raw channel, same raw station, with the same two co-hosts, Marcus and Sandy. I say wholeness and balanced love. Shift and evolve. Peace.
See you guys next week as we party like the summer of '69. Guys, enjoy this video. I'm going to finish this off with a video, and this is about the Ra group and 10,000 BC in South America. Enjoy. Be about a 5-minute video, and it'll be our closeout. One love.